Joe Adkins with us now on 107.7 The Franchise. You buy any of that?
Well, you'll kiss the grandbaby too if you lost the first of the year before. I mean, that's so.
Okay.
They were a heavy seed and then got beat last year by a first seed. So yes, maybe you take the things that you take for granted. Like back in the day, they never were upset like that. But when you get upset like that, you start to put things in much better perspective.
I mean, okay, Joe, but I mean, it's not like it's his first hurrah going to the Sweet 16 here.
I think it was his first hurrah in leading to a Mercer team, though. I don't think he's ever been beaten by a team in a huge upset like that. I don't think Duke has been part of very many of those. In fact, they normally just were in very close games and someone would hit a game winner or something. So.
Go ahead, Todd.
All right, Joe, I got to ask you this because Zach and I were talking earlier, and you're just the guy to ask on this.
Uh-oh.
All right, OU plays Dayton yesterday in Columbus, and everyone goes, well, it's a road game. Now, you, as a guy that played, and especially as a guy that's a shooter, do you consider that a home game for Dayton, or would you be more – I guess what I'm saying, Joe, is yes, it was a road crowd, but as a shooter, you're still shooting in a gym you're not used to, right?
Yes.
So it's not really – when people say, oh, that's a road game, it's not really a road game. It's a neutral site game with a road crowd. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, normally when I say it's a road game, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, Dayton didn't go shoot in the gym either. I mean, they both had the same amount of time. So, yeah. So, no, it's not. When I say it's a road game, I'm talking more of the crowd perspective.
Sure.
I would be talking about the goals. So, yeah, that would be right.
Now, with that being said, we saw both those teams shoot it really well yesterday. Just in general, when you go play in an NCAA tournament game or on these neutral site games in arenas that you're not used to, especially bigger arenas, how hard is it as a shooter to get your bearings and to get your sight lines and to really feel like you can be successful on a court that you're not used to?
I mean, it's difficult because, you know, the depth perception is so different. I think my junior year, we were in Indianapolis at, like, the RCA Dome, so it was nothing. Like, I mean, it was so much space behind, and then my senior year, we were in the Carrier Dome, so those were very different places than we had been to before. It's the way the gym was built. There's so much space in the grass ground. It is different. It takes you have to get adjusted to it for sure. But shooters can shoot, man. They find it at some point. But it is when you first get in there, it definitely is a different sight when you're normally accustomed to going in maybe your own college gym or even normal gyms around the Big 12. It's much different.
Oh, the Carrier Dome. Oh, bad memories at the old Carrier Dome, buddy. Oh, Carrier Dome. Oh, damn Florida. Hey, by the way, you sound on your phone, Joe, and I don't mean this to be mean or anything like that. I'm just being, I'm just trying to be a good radio guy here, as if you are carrying the phone between your head and your shoulder without any hands. Is that the case?
No.
Okay. Because you sound a little bit muffled.
Can you hear me now?
Maybe turn it around backwards like the Hampton coach.
Yeah, that's right. He did turn it around
That's
backwards.
the way to do it. Or does that only work when you're calling Jesus? I don't know.
That's right.
Hey, Joe, we talked a lot about – sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
We talked a lot about Oklahoma State and Oregon earlier in the first hour. When all's said and done, number one, what do you say at the end of this season, success or disappointment? And then also for the program in general, where's Oklahoma State basketball at right now compared to where it should be?
I think when you overall assess their season, I think you would stand with success first because I don't think anyone thought that they would get in the NCAA tournament this year. So in that facet, as a coach, you're extremely proud of that as a program. Now, in saying that Oklahoma State has won one NCAA tournament game in the past 10 years, I think their program should be better than that, and it has been for a long time. But 3 years before the change at coach, you had 3 years where they didn't make the tournament. So it's at a fine line right now to where where is you have to look at the program as a whole and say, what have we done to how have we made it better, and how do we get it to the next step? I think recruiting-wise, they've signed some tremendous recruits. I mean, they signed a Marcus Smart. They brought the first McDonald's All-Americans to Oklahoma State. I mean, we've never had that. But we haven't seen the consistency that the program had before this genre. Maybe with the Eddie Sutton, you know, that with that whole regime and everything, it hasn't been as consistent. And Cowboy fans, they're very knowledgeable about the game, so they understand how the game is supposed to be played. Not saying they're playing the wrong way, but they expect certain things. And consistency has been one of them, because that program, the one thing they have has always been consistent. But getting in the NCAA tournament, 5 out of 7? How many years has it been where she only missed it twice, right?
I think that's right, yeah, 5 of 7.
He missed it twice. So they've been consistently getting in the tournament, but there was only 1 year where Eddie Sutton didn't win a tournament game, and that was the plane crash year. So Oklahoma State has normally been accustomed to getting out of the first round, and they haven't been able to do that. So in that, as a program, I think that's disappointing that you haven't won but one tournament game in the past 10 years. But this season, because of everything, and, you know, if Anthony Hickey doesn't come, I don't know where their program is right now. They got a real true gift to get him to kind of establish their point guard position. Otherwise, they could have been in real trouble. So
yeah,
they were blessed in, and then they get the new kid coming in, the McDonald's All-American again. But they're going to need to add some guys, so otherwise it could be a little bit of trouble for next year. But they've always found ways to get players. So you can get players. It's about getting guys, and some of it is luck, winning in the first round, but you have to do better in the regular season so you get a higher seed.
Yeah, and I think that what your answer did, Joe, is it kind of proves my point, and tell me if I'm right on this. You're right, they did surpass expectations this season. However, 7 years into Travis Ford, when do we start saying, hey, man, the expectations are too low?
Well, I think that
pause meant right now.
Well, it doesn't fall on me. It's not up to me, but it falls on the AD. It's where he feels the program. If that's going to be acceptable to him, then that's okay. I mean, okay, that's what it is. But I believe it was the AD's hire. I believe it was Mike Holder's hire, and he's given him an opportunity to succeed. And as a coach, you want that. But I don't know. It's a fine line. I don't know if you can fire coaches for making the NCAA tournament when the past coach, it's a coach in between. It was Eddie Sutton, Sean Sutton, and then it's Travis. So when you compare to the last coach, the program has taken steps forward. But when you look at the overall, they may be just on the straight narrow. They haven't exceeded in cases where most people would argue that they're actually in a decline. So if you're the AD and you were the guy that hired the Sean Sutton as well, you have upgraded the basketball program. So it's going to be the perception of the person. Me and you, Ty, you're from Oklahoma, so you understand where Oklahoma State is. But for some people, it's like, for maybe Zach, you're new, it's like, it does look like it's an upgrade. But truly here, if you ask people around the state or Cowboy fans, they'll say they're in a decline.
I think that's about it, buddy. That was good. You give Michigan State or Oklahoma any chance against Michigan State?
Yeah. Why wouldn't we give them a chance? I
don't know. I mean, you tell me about the matchup. I know you're in the matchup. You tell me.
Well, I think the huge matchup will be Dawson and Thomas at the fourth. That spot will play a huge role in who's going to win this game. What guy is able to establish himself offensively where they can run stuff? I think both guys are used quite similar, where the team, they're going to depend on them to score baskets, breaking guys off the dribble or posting and finding ways. So Thomas, he'll have to score for OU to win, I think. Unless you have. Excuse me?
No, go ahead. I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to change the subject. I was just going to say.
Go ahead and change the subject.
I tried to tell you about NC State.
You did, and Jack, I gave you props on that. What else? When I give you props,
Wait a minute.
you want me to give you more props.
No,
Right?
no,
I
wait
know,
a minute.
isn't that right?
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
When exactly?
Welcome to my world, Joe.
When during this interview did I miss the props?
Well, okay, Zach. I mean, just like you made me tell when I told the story about you being the cooler, you made me tell the story about how I was getting props with the game.
Which is only
Zach,
fair. Which is only fair.
He never says, Joe, remember, I got that one wrong.
No. What Joe does is he's so quick to point out all the times I screw up. I'd just like, I'd like 50-50, at least publicly.
After the game, what did I do? Did I not send you a text and say, nice call on him?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I wanted public credit.
All right, Joe, you got to break the tie for us. Yes or no, Eduardo Nájera was faking when Mateen Cleaves, quote-unquote, knocked him out running into the pit.
He wasn't knocked out, Joe.
Zach says he wasn't knocked out, that was all an act. I say he was knocked out. What say you?
I think he was knocked out.
No.
Yes.
No.
He was out.
No, that's just you being
Zach,
a nice guy.
No, that's just you being a carpetbagger from the north, Zach.
And,
Not knowing about OU basketball and that hard hustling hardwood back in the day.
if I'm not mistaken,
hardwood.
Todd, didn't he go back in the game?
He did, yes.
Yeah, you know why? Because he wasn't knocked out.
That's what Zach says, but he's wrong.
Hey, back then we never talked about concussions back then.
Oh, I know.
I'm sure there were guys that had several concussions. And had it been now and that happened, he wouldn't have been back in. Because we saw that last night with Maryland. I mean, they lose the game because their one true ball handler goes out with like 8 minutes to go. And they're like, no, he's not going back in. And so it could have very well cost them the game. It's just it's a different era, man. People are paying much more attention now to things like that.
You're damn right Nájera went back in. The first thing he did, he set a screen. First possession. That's that hard hustling hardwood. Kelvin Sampson.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
We'll see you,
Get
Joe.
out of here, Joe. Get out. See
All
ya.
right, fellas, you have a good one.
All right, man. Joe Adkins.